Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Knicks Morning Coffee. All right, today we're going to talk a little bit about the Knicks and Julius Randle. And what we're going to try to do, or what I'm going to try to do, is make a case of why we should keep Julius Randle. Now, I know it's already out there. I saw quite a few different storylines from quite a few different places, but I'm looking at Julius Randle and the way that he can get buckets and the way that he performed. Okay, he got those certain things about his game that we don't like. But sometimes as Knicks fans, we got to be a little bit cautious of the people we give away and why we give them away. Because Julius Randle he's basically a 20 and 10. Now, I don't want to keep him as a starter. And I do know his salary may factor into it. But with that aside, we're going to put that aside for a second, because we always giving away guys who end up on other teams and then they become what they were supposed to become. Now, we knew he wasn't a superstar when we got him last year. He had good numbers playing alongside Anthony Davis with the Pelicans, but coming here with really no other real superstar, then there's nobody for him to feed off of. So we can't just put that on Julius. He brings a lot of skills. He can get you 30 really at any given time. And then coming off the bench, that's instant offense. Now, mind you, the guy also rebounds. So it's hard to get that in this league. And I know now, too, we're in a league of the stretch four. And the stretch four basically now just stands in the corner. And hopefully he can get some rebounds. It used to be the power forward became the pick and pop guy. And a lot of teams don't use that as much anymore. Now they just, park those guys down in the corner. And then, when the ball swings their way, we do need that. But we also need guys that can get in there and mix it up. And Julius is one of those guys. And when he's hot, he can hit the outside shot. But again, coming off the bench, that's not something that we may not need. So what I did yesterday was just go back and think about some of the people that the Knicks want to target for the stretch four this summer in free agency or trade. And I like everybody that they're trying to target. But again, when I mention these names to you, everybody comes on a real cheap salary that you could keep Julius Randle. And then at the same time, if you want to get rid of Julius Randle, fine. I'm not going to lose no sleep. But why give away those 20 and 10 points? I mean, for his career, he averages about 16 points a game, and then he also averages about 9 rebounds a game. But we all know he can go for 30 at any given time. So Danilo Gallinari from OKC. They talking about him. Yeah, we had him in the past. Remember, he left in that Melo trade. But when I think about him, and I like him, and for the team we got, I don't know if that's bringing him on is the answer with the team that we have now, because he basically just stands out there and shoot. Once in a while he might drive to the basket, but he's getting a lot older now than just kicking it out to him just to have that and that alone. Our team is not good enough, just to have that type of 3 or 4 guy or 3-and-D guy kind of thing. But some of the other names, now he's also the only one that has a big salary. That's a few $1 million more than what Randle get. I think Randle's like around 19 and he's at about 23, million, something like that. So, that's doable. The other guys, Bogdanovich from the Jazz, they talking about him. I like him. I like the way he can, put it up. He can become a volume shooter. His percentage is pretty good. So, that doesn't hurt. Who else they got? They got, what's this guy name? What's this dude name? The Wizards. Davis Bertans. Yeah. He can shoot. Now, and he also can shoot, but he's also wiry. So he doesn't hurt either. His percentage is also pretty good. He knows how to find his shot. He knows how to get in that corner and also move around, and he'll be a little rough with you on the defensive side. So I'm not opposed to them guys. One of the biggest guys I would like to get, who I think should be a priority, just as much as a priority to get rid of Randle, is Christian Woods out of Detroit. Now, he can ball. I don't really think there's too many things that he can't do. And then you put him alongside Mitchell Robinson, and then you got something there. So, these are just people that the Knicks got their eye on, but you have to go out and make a move. If you're going to get those guys, make a move. Again, if you're going to get rid of Randle, then come back with two of them cats. So now you got two of them. Now you're saying something, because now you're strengthening your bench. And then also, what it's going to do in the starting lineup alongside Mitch. And if RJ is supposed to be the man this year, then he definitely needs somebody out there that's going to be able to kick it out to him. But, we just can't forget that Randle actually brings something to the table. The coaches that we got, reuniting him with Kenny Payne, come on, he can help Randle. He can, take this out of your game, add that to your game. But we have to remember the things that he do well. And I'm not even going to go into the list of people, just watching the NBA games in the bubble, how many guys that were recent former Knicks playing on good teams in the bubble. So we got to stop. Right now, we got something in Randle. And if it's just because of the numbers, let him go. No, he should not be starting. But he should be out there coming off the bench, kind of like what Montrezl Harrell gives to the Clippers. And then not only that, and then you throw in Lonzo Trier. He doesn't score as fast as Lou Williams, but right now, you look at our roster from last year, he really was our really only closer, even though we didn't use him in a closing fashion. But in terms of if it's a 5-minute game in the fourth quarter and you got to go bucket for bucket, Lonzo Trier, he got that in him. Now, I don't want him starting either, but I don't think we should just let these guys walk out the door for something to go to another team. And then it's like, okay, here go the Knicks. Here we go again. We did the same thing again. We got Randle here. He's 20-10. He's a workaholic. He's going to do what you ask him to do. Those other things in his game, take those things out of his game. You putting him with his old college, mentor, assistant coach. That's going to be great. That's also going to be great for Knox. But you bring in these stretch fours. I'm for every last one of them. Bring them in, especially Christian Woods, and Bogdanovich too. He really can shoot it. But bring them guys in and put them alongside Mitch. But then you also have to remember, you bringing in stretch fours. Are you going to turn Mitch loose and let Mitch do his thing? Because he's still going to need points. The stretch four is not going to give us but so many buckets at one time. So now you can bring Randle off the bench and he scores in volumes. He can get 10 points real quick, in a couple of minutes. So let's use that to our advantage as a Knick organization and Knick fans, and just not be so fast to want to just push, our guys out the door until we gave them a fair shot to play the game the way that they play. And I'm not really a Randle fan, but I'm a fan of the NBA. And when you look at all these other teams, when we give them players, remember we threw J.R. Smith in for nothing, Yeah.
Nothing at the word.
Nothing. I mean, not even a late second round draft pick. And Cleveland laughed all the way to the championship. Do you think they probably really wanted Shumpert? No disrespect to Shumpert.
Yeah, but talking about my guy like that.
No, I like Shumpert. But they want JR, and another team got us again. So let's just not be so fast to jump off the Randle bandwagon, for nothing. The man brings offensive skills and he brings rebounding. Okay, he was never going to be a great defender, but having Tom Thibodeau out there with his defensive schemes, that'll help. He'll play defense, and then that's all we really want. So, Knicks is out there. If you're going to trade Randle, go ahead and trade Randle. But let's do our job and make sure that we're taking care of home before we go strengthen somebody else's team, again, like we normally do. All right, sorry about that. We had some camera difficulties, but we're back. There's just a couple of nuggets that I want to go over before we get out of here. Things about the Knicks and what we can do since you brought on this super management team and these guys that have player relationships around the league. So, one, Denver Nuggets, Michael Porter Jr. is unhappy in Denver. So that's an opportunity right there. He feels he should get more touches in the games. I don't know why he would do that in the playoffs, and disrupt the team chemistry. But again, that's a guy we probably should have drafted, injuries aside. So that's something to look at, right, in the offseason. Guy like that could change your whole team around, especially us. So if he's unhappy over there, hey, and it might be a ploy of his to maybe get out of Denver and go somewhere where he could be the man. And let's get our heads together as a Knicks, organization, and let's go out there and see what we can do. Bring him in. Another one is, and I thought this one was kind of crazy, is that Milwaukee saying that if they don't think they can re-sign the Greek Freak, they willing to trade him to the Lakers or the Clippers. Now, the thing about that is, okay, you want a star for a star. There ain't that many top-notch stars in the league. But that you didn't just pull them two teams out of your hat. Somebody been talking. So now if I'm somebody on the Clippers or somebody on the Lakers, like maybe AD, Paul George, or even Kawhi, I doubt LeBron, that means somebody been having conversation. Because Milwaukee's not going to do that. They too smart for that. They're not just going to blur out where they would trade him and get the wheels and, somebody's head, motioning. So now the Greek Freak may say, oh, they willing to trade me just in case? Okay, well, Knicks, if they'll part with him, now this is where your brains are supposed to come into play. Okay, since they will part with him, how do we pry him out of there? Same thing with the Clippers and the Lakers. If those teams, and it had to be double conversation on both sides. It wasn't just they blurred that out on Milwaukee side.
That's when you start throwing in Randle.
Well, I mean, Randle plus.
Yeah,
well,
plus.
Now, for a star like that, I mean, Randle is not even on that level. Yeah, but as far as that plus whatever you're going to put together a package. Yeah, but now you got to go to the Clippers and Lakers and see what it would take. People willing to get rid of their superstars. AD, I think he's a free agent. Maybe the Lakers don't feel like they could have maybe really signed him. Maybe they had some, behind the scenes talks. Somebody did. Same thing with the Clippers. So now you get in there and try to get in that mix. It'll have to be players and draft picks. But still, if you're the GMs and you got these relationships and the president of the team, and you got to find a way to get in there and get in that conversation. That's just things that we have to do. And then the last one, real quick, is now I'm not gonna try to hate on Kevin Durant, but then I saw the article he did with somebody yesterday about, and he always flip-flopping why he didn't choose the Knicks. Depending on who he's talking to. One will say it was this, and 1 minute he'll say, yeah, I considered them, and well, now he's saying I never considered the Knicks. That way back in February and March, he really had his mind made up. Now his reason was, and I respect the first part of the reason, I didn't want to be the savior. I respect that. As good as he is, and Kevin, you're a great player. You're one of the top 5 best players on the planet, So I respect that when somebody say, I don't want to be the savior. But then his second part was, I didn't want the glitz and glamour. I don't want Broadway. I don't want all the fame that come with it. I just want to go hoop. Okay, that part could be good, except the fact that you only over in Brooklyn. So you said Brooklyn is chill. Brooklyn is quiet. I mean, Brooklyn is chill. Where is Brooklyn quiet? I mean, they got the same energy that the Knicks got. Mm-hmm. And those same writers who New York got the most writers in the world, they're coming to your games. The only writers you're not going to get is the Knicks beat writers. But all those New York writers for everything is coming to your game. So where were you running to hide? You want to go to the Nets, fine. I'm not shading the Nets. Grew up in Jersey, born and raised. Been a Net fan all my life. But, New York is a Knicks town. So did you really thought you was going to go over there and just hide in Brooklyn? All those bad games are going to be noticed. All those good games are going to be noticed. The media is going to be everywhere you go, they're going to go. So I didn't understand that part, but you keep flip-flopping on why you didn't go to the Knicks. But I do respect the first comment was that I didn't want to be the savior. So, with that said, I want to hear what y'all think about Julius Randle. Okay, this is not going to go over well because everybody wants Julius Randle out of there. But as a Knicks, Knicks organization, sometimes we got to do more of our due diligence in our own players before we just start tossing them aside to other teams that once they get them, they just a little sub piece to them winning the championship or being a contender. So let's try to put our little piece. We got the little pieces. Let's try to put the big pieces around those little pieces so we can go out and have a nice season this year. All right. So You know, I thought last year was a good show. You know, I see quite a few of y'all, you know, have watched it, and I appreciate that. But, you know, I would still like to get the comments, and please hit the like button and hit the notification button. All right. Thank you. Peace.